And we are live. Hello, MGTOW. Hello, everyone. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. And welcome to For Those About to Rock. It would be awesome if I could cue up some music right here, right now, maybe some graphics, but we can't afford that here at the Howard Dare channel. Not yet. We're working on it. So I've got a few things that I want to talk about. I want to try to clarify some of the ideas in a few of my previous videos. So we're going to be here for a little while, right? So if you have yourself some coffee or something to drink or something to smoke, yeah, you should get that handy. And I also want to talk about the Super Bowl because, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been kicked by a mule. I really do. And it's like, I don't know if that's the experience I was looking for when I started watching the whole situation. It's like, oh, that wasn't the way I wanted to feel when I came away from the experience. And I also want to talk about those Super Bowl commercials because weren't they something? Those commercials were the worst Super Bowl commercials I have ever seen in my life. Straight up. I also want to talk about some of my upcoming ideas regarding some of my videos in the coming days. Right? When I say something like that, right, I could mean it's, like the coming videos tonight, because I'll do that over the next day and a half or something. Yeah. And there was something else that I wanted to talk about, but I forget what it is. Oh yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for stopping by, everybody. I appreciate it. And I'll give you a moment or two to get settled in. I mean, maybe I'll end up telling you why I, called this For Those About to Rock, but only if I remember. So give me a moment here, people, while I make sure that everything's working properly. We're live, and you caught us in the middle of a couple of adventures here at the Howard Dare Studios. Actually, we were right in the middle of Guess What I'm Doing episode when this whole show started. Okay, great. I'm looking at the chat now, and it appears that there are people in the chat. And I'm figuring that they can hear me okay. Otherwise, right, you'd be saying, where the hell's the audio? And that would be a terrible trick to play on somebody who's doing a chat. You could do that. I think somebody did that to me once. Yeah. And I was like searching all over the place. I was like, no, there was no problem. It was just one person messing with me. It was a troll. Yeah, that's always worth talking about, huh? Trolls. I believe that trolls are affected by sunspots. I have a whole theory about trolls. I mean, I will admit that I was a troll at one point, but I wasn't just any sort of regular troll. I was like a super troll. I really was. I was like a king of trolls. I was a trainer of trolls. Anyway, so I've been uploading just some videos, like news footage and stuff like that. And I hope you guys don't think that I'm just like uploading stuff just to, upload stuff. I mean, I would never do that. Never. Ever. I just wouldn't. I mean, that would just be wrong. That would just be fundamentally wrong. And I would never do it. Well, maybe a little bit. Okay. So yeah, I put up the videos, just whatever, right? It's like if there's a video and I can put it up there, I'll put it up there. This is like 24 hours worth of videos, How about just 24-hour live stream? It's just, what would you put on it? You'd have to have some video, some ridiculous, footage, of like bitches arguing at the welfare department. Kind of like as a community service, right? They'd be putting it up there as like a community service, right? But I'd be putting it up here as like fucking entertainment. as comedy. Yeah, I wonder if we could get a hold of some of those feeds, some of those government feeds, government video feeds, right? Watching the government workers, which reminds me, The Walking Dead is coming back, you know? I saw the commercials during the Super Bowl. If you could even call those, those things commercials. Man, those things sucked. And that's a hell of a thing for me to say, people. I mean, I know that that's a dangerous thing for me to say, but those commercials were bad commercials. Yeah, Walking Dead is coming back, and that always reminds me of government workers. It's true. It's true. Just check them out. Any government holiday, go to the supermarket and watch them walk around, and they are just like zombies. So, yeah, the footage is up there because it's concerning subjects that I'm talking about in my other videos. It's related. It's not just any old footage. It's footage that I think is related to the things I'm talking about in MGTOW in general. Because I was talking about this certain type of blindness, like once you're ideologically on one particular side, like once these people believe in feminism, you can't argue with them. Once they become like leftist, globalist, social justice warrior, you're a fascist. If you don't go along with them, whatever their retarded idea is, you're a fascist. And they can't even see it. They won't look, is what it comes down to. And I'm not suggesting that such people be reasoned with, because I don't believe that they're responding to reason and logic. Luckily, you can just go about dealing with reality and building your future, okay? And just having as little contact and as little to do with those people as possible. And you can build a real good world for yourself. Give me a second here. Yeah, people are still coming in. You know what I mean? It's not like I open the doors to the podcast and people are just like rushing in. They need time. They need time to come in. Yeah, so thanks for stopping by, everybody. And welcome to everyone. I'd like to start bringing on some guests, some other MGTOWs, who produce content. And I talk to them about, where they're coming from, why they produce the content they produce, whatever sort of personal backstory they might want to tell, and whatever MGTOW issues they want to talk about, and then maybe, talk about current popular issues like Super Bowl or politics or The Walking Dead, whatever, as it relates to MGTOW. That would be pretty cool, right? And it would be like a Joe Rogan, podcast, only a lot better. Because Joe Rogan sucks. He's a fucking amateur. I'm just joking around. No, there's nothing wrong with being an amateur. There's nothing wrong with doing something because you want to do it and because you like doing it. As a matter of fact, doing that and putting it out there is actually pretty cool, if you can do it. And, because it gives other people encouragement and permission to do those types of things, right? So by all means, take some chances out there and do some stuff if you can, if you're in a position to do so. So the people become blind to the other points of view, and it's more than that. And we don't understand it. It's like everybody thinks, this is why you can get into an argument with somebody and you can become really impassioned. And it's like, but you don't fucking understand. And they're like, just kind of like ignoring you, or they just don't think it's important. And you just keep getting more and more worked up. Okay, maybe that's just me. I'm the only one who does that. Everyone who's listening to me, it's like, nah, this kid needs medication. So people think that other people understand and look at the world as they do. But no, everybody's got their own, most important thing. It's like you're focused on this one subject and you're talking about this subject and you're relating it to the events in the world. And you're talking to somebody else and they're thinking about a completely different subject and relating it to completely different aspects of the world. Good evening, Mr. Dare. Good evening, Mr. Airborne. Thanks for stopping by. I'm referring to, some things in the comments section. So, a certain blindness in human beings. We don't understand that the things that we think are so important that other people aren't even aware of them, right? This is why somebody will come into my comment section and they'll be all angry about something and they'll be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But it goes even deeper. It's a real fundamental, basic kind of thing to our personalities. Like if you're engrossed in something and somebody says, hey, I've got something important here. It's like, not important to me. What's important to me is that, whatever it is, we deal with it and get it done. But how about the ideological explanation of it? How do you explain the press, the media, just being locked on to Donald Trump and finding fault with him, right? So every day they're going to be reporting on what he did today. Like tomorrow, they're going to report on everything he did today, and they're going to be making fun of it, like a bunch of girls in high school, right? And that's it. And they're never going to realize that, no, and they're going to think that's reporting. They're holding his feet to the fire, they're checking the facts. And it's like, no, you're being a snotty little bitch. And you think it's okay behavior. You think that this is how the world works. It's like, no, there's a man, he's got a huge job to do. There's all these problems that need to be solved. He's solving these problems as best that he can. And some people are getting offended. Some people are coming on board. Some people are not coming on board. And the press is talking about the personalities involved. You see what I'm saying? They're like, and how dare he say this to that person, so-and-so almost fainted and so-and-so was crying. He has no comprehension. And it's like, no, the man performing the brain surgery has no comprehension about your feelings, and you're really not going to be able to distract the guy who's flying the plane very much. So they don't seem to understand that. They are acting like entitled, female, dependent children that don't even have to deal with the requirements of reality. You think you're doing a person a favor by helping them out, by sheltering them, by giving them security, by giving them a job, by helping them. But sometimes you're just sheltering them or, stopping them from dealing with reality, and they become crazy. They become sick. They don't trim up. They don't get strong. They don't become capable of dealing with the situation around them, right? So men are empowering this behavior in women. It's like, this is one of the things that happens. This is one of the things that happens with our entire civilization, empowering women and defending the female point of view. And if you go against it, it's one of the greatest sins that you can do here in our culture. And if you're not like worshiping the women, it's like the guys around you will be like, what are you, gay? It's like, what, you don't want to have sex with her? What do you mean? She's a 50-year-old French whore with, a bunch of, sexual diseases, but she's looking at you. She's smiling, dude. Right? She just needs $50. It's like, what are you, gay? Like, holy shit, run for your life. So these values are hoisted. It's pretty tricky. Anyway, I get carried away sometimes. So what am I doing? Sorry, people, I'm doing other things. There's a lot of stuff going on here at the Howard Dare Studios. There is. There's people arriving. There's people leaving. There's printouts. There's deliveries. That's right. We have deliveries here at the Howard Dare channel from time to time. Right? Amazon delivers to the Howard Dare channel. Hey, Gentle Fist Brewer in the comment section. I admire Howard Dare. I admire Gentle Fist Brewer. So thanks for stopping by, man. And I'm just lighting up something to smoke. And I hope my coffee is hot. right? Because as I have said before, cold coffee is, it's like a feminist. It's like a woman with a bad attitude. Where do women come off acting like, they're the equal to men? And I don't mean equal in rights and things like that. It's like, no, you're not the equal. I don't even like, why would they do it? Right? You know what I mean? It's like, do you see men trying to like run in and, like be the equal, I need equal time in the bathroom or something? Men don't do that. They don't compete with women like that. Anyway, probably off topic here a little bit. Just doing some other stuff. I'm the only one here in the Howard Dare studio at this time. We weren't planning on doing this podcast. And I sent everybody home. That's right. I sent the staff home. But then I was like, damn it, I need to do a podcast. I have things to say. I must go live. Imagine if Donald Trump could go live. I wonder if he really does do the tweeting. You know what I mean? I wonder if the president is just sitting there fucking watching TV. I don't know, maybe listening to this podcast right now. Hello, Mr. President. Thanks for stopping by. And, like he's just like, I got nothing to do. Takes out his phone, checks his Twitter account, looks at Rosie O'Donnell's Twitter account, sees who's tweeting about him. Maybe doesn't like what somebody says. Types out the tweet, "Fuck you, asshole." Then backspaces it. Like, no, I'm the president. Then types something a little bit more reasonable, and then just click send, tweet, post. That's it. And send. No press secretaries, nothing at all. Puts his phone away, just sets it aside, goes back to watching TV or something. That would be funny. I bet he does. Right? Yeah, so I just thought it would be super cool to name this podcast For Those About to Rock. And then I thought it would be really cool if when I said it, I could then kick in with some music, right? Maybe even some graphics. Excuse me. Yeah, it's dead air. There's nothing I can do about it. It's a podcast. We're live. It's the way it is. I'm sorry. I'm talking to the people now in the future that will be listening to this podcast. And they're thinking, why is there dead air here? And they don't realize that this was happening in real time. February 6th, 2017. Howard Dare, MGTOW channel. Real time, so. There's updates, there's deliveries, there's messages, there's phone calls, there's emergencies, there's deliveries, there's coffee, there's something to smoke, there's something to drink. There's no sound effects, there's no music. Yeah. No sound effects, no music. How's my coffee? Son of a bitch. My coffee's getting cold, people. I'm sorry. It's like a woman with a bad attitude. Useless. Not fulfilling the role of a woman. Why would you have a relationship? I mean, of course, you're going to be related to your mother and your sisters or women you have to work with and shit like that. But why would you be friends with a woman that doesn't have a good attitude? That isn't like, oh, you're so strong. Oh, I'm so glad to be around you. Oh, wow. Can you do this for me? I mean, if she's not going to act like a woman, what the hell? Like, you wouldn't even let a guy hang around. You wouldn't let a guy hang around that acted like that. You'd be like, dude, I'm sorry, man. We can't be friends. You just got to hit the road, man. I'm not gonna buy you lunch. I'm not gonna hold doors open for you. I'm not gonna ask you how you're feeling. I'm not gonna notice any fucking thing about your hair or what you're wearing. I'm just not. And if you expect me to, and you get upset over the fact that I haven't, no, we can't be friends, man. We can't even hang out. And if you try to talk to me like seriously, like you try to talk to me about your scrotum or something, I'll be like, oh man, that's too bad. And I'll be like a cat that doesn't even want to be thrown in the water. It'll be like, get me the fuck out of here. Right. So what? A woman's going to do that, and she's not going to be like sucking your dick. Jesus. And it's true. I mean, this is the attitude. This is the prevailing attitude. And if you don't go along with it, you're in a lot of trouble. And if you don't go along with it from some fat, ugly, pre-diabetic bitch, who's got all kinds of hormonal problems, what are you, gay? That's what they'll say, right? So if you're not like jumping through hoops to get together with some fat retard that thinks you're dog meat, if you don't jump through hoops to do that, people will look at you sideways like you're gay or something, like you're not a real man. So good luck with that. I mean, this is what the young man is facing. This is what men are facing. This is the attitude of women. This is the attitude of the blue pill world. They don't care about you. They care about using you and exploiting you. And if you don't go along with it, they're going to shame you and they're going to try to invalidate you. And woe, unto you for having, your values and who you are associated with them. Because that's the question. What? Aren't you a real man? That's what they'll ask you. And it's terrible to have to look at it's terrible to have to look at somebody that you don't even care about, that you don't even know, and then you're questioning who you are. And I suppose this is fine for a woman, to even be in a situation. You know what I mean? Women are in this situation too. No doubt. This is a human situation. It's wrong to have somebody else be able to question you and belittle you and make you feel like nothing because maybe they don't approve of you. I don't know, maybe they're making fun of your shoes, or they're saying, hey, you didn't chase after that retarded whore. It's like, what are you going to do? You want to have children with some retarded whore that's going to use them, that's going to exploit you, that's going to cheat you when you run out of resources or when you need a little bit of help? I mean, there's the real question. You know what I mean? You want to get together with a woman and it's like, well, what happens when you lose your job and you can't take care of her? What happens when you get sick? What happens when you fall down? You think she's going to pick up the slack? Good luck. Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be, an asshole about it. Because I understand that, we're driven by our biology and by our culture to please women. And what a cruel trick it is to then withhold the affection, withhold the approval, place all validation based on those things, and the whole time coming through, shame the shit out of the young men so they can't even develop into strong young men. It's true. If you don't support the man properly, he doesn't build up testosterone and get strong properly. Like if you have a little boy and every day you tell him to shut up and to watch where he's going and to not kick the ball and who does he think he is and to check his privilege and to get that door open and he's no better than anybody else, it's going to be really hard for that young boy to grow up into a strong young man. He's going to be timid. He's going to be unsure. He's not going to have good health. He's going to lack confidence. He's not going to be good at sports. He's going to be over emotional. He's going to be eager to go to the feminine rally and hold up his signs. He's not going to take pride in his masculinity. He's not going to have enough masculinity to take pride in. Contrast that with a young man who is given some freedom and also given some discipline, expected to, conform and expected to perform. And when he doesn't, he loses his privileges. He loses his entitlements. Straight up. It's like, oh, yeah. You thought you were going to be, fucking playing video games this week, didn't you? No, you've lost your access to that. You thought you were going to be going online this week, didn't you? No, When you fail to, perform your duties and responsibilities as a young man, you lost your privileges. That's just the way it is. And there's no point being upset or anything like that. Just fucking do your job, do what you need to do. So imagine a young man held to these types of standards, what he can grow up into being, with a mind towards physical exercise, with a mind towards competition, with a mind towards being responsible. He can develop into a very strong young man. And as long as some bitch doesn't start telling lies about him and get him fired from a job, he can develop into a real man. See, when you take the job away from the man, you take away his pathway to development. When you limit a woman's job, you actually open up her opportunity to build a family, which is pretty much her biological role. So it's a shame. It's a shame what the corporations, it's a shame what government, it's a shame what Marxist, leftist, globalist, socialist ideology has done. Capitalism, enlightened self-interest, is the engine of humanity. You don't build hospitals without those things. You don't build supermarkets without those things. You don't build skyscrapers without enlightened self-interest. Nobody builds a skyscraper because some bitch is giving him a hard time. He builds it because it's in his interest to do so. And women are not just as good as men. It's retarded. You know what I mean? I can raise my voice and women will cower. That's it. What do you think the press is doing with Donald Trump? I mean, sure, of course there's good men there. Of course there's intelligent men there. But the majority of, certainly television media, they're idiots. They're based in a little popularity contest. They don't care what they're doing. They don't care what it's about. They would report on him going to the bathroom. Do you understand? They don't care. Anything they can do to get their views, to make their point, to shame. They don't even know what real news is anymore. This is what they do. They create famous people. They destroy personalities. They decide who's popular, who's not. That's what Lady Gaga's halftime show was. It was propaganda. I mean, didn't you love it? Right? Because there was people in the audience just like you. And they loved it. And the cameras loved it. And you got to assume that everybody in the Super Bowl loved it. And you have to assume that everybody in the country loved it and everybody in the world loved it. Right? Yeah. She's going to be running for office, right? She's going to use that, little promo she did there singing, God Bless America. What a pivot she took, Goes from being this rebellious Antifa libtard, rallying the troops, to singing God Bless America. Man, it's like a MGTOW getting married. Sorry. I'm sorry. No, it's worse, man. It's worse. You think her fans are going to mind? No, they're not going to care. They don't care. They love her. See, and this is part of the blindness thing that I'm talking about. They don't care. It's Gaga. You know what I mean? That's okay. Gaga could become a Republican, right? Support Donald Trump 100%, and her fans would, in the most part, would stay with her. They wouldn't even be able to see it. They'd be like, yeah, what's the problem? I mean, that is what's going to happen. You must know that. That is what's going to happen. Whatever becomes the status quo, eventually, they will turn to. That's all. Whatever becomes most popular with their group, they will turn to. I mean, why wouldn't they? They won't even, again, this is the blindness that I'm talking about. They won't even be aware of any of the principles or values involved. They weren't aware of them before. No reason why they should be aware of them now. I guess they'll just be, crazy bitches for the other side. They don't care. See what's going on. Just reading through the comment section, people. Yes, a lot of what I say won't make sense because I'm talking to people in the future. I'm talking to the people, in some cases, who will be watching this podcast later. And they'll be like, what the hell is he doing? What is he talking about? Well, I'm going through the comments section, like a good host, seeing who's here, seeing if there's any problems. This is part of the responsibilities and duties of a podcast YouTube host. And I take these things seriously, people. I'll fucking kill somebody. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, you guys are free to express yourselves in the comments section. I'm doing really good. Comments are up like 1,000%, right? YouTube keeps track of everything, or it's Google, right? And when I say everything, I do mean everything. So they know, who's clicked on what, when, where, how, who they are. Yeah. You must know that's largely, a whole marketing kind of thing. And, you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's terrible. That's corruption. But it's not. It's also the engine, that moves this whole thing. It's like games are a waste of time. No, they're not. They are largely what drives our entire graphic aspect, of the situation. It's like, well, porno is terrible. It's like, no, it's one of the main industries of the internet. Without it, well, I don't know if they would have even developed it the way they have. So I guess you could say that these appeals to the most base aspects of the human nature, they have to be satisfied to a degree. And the harder that life is for people, the more that they need those types of things. And there's money there too, because people just want to feel good. Mammals just want to feel good, right? It's not just a people thing; it's a mammal thing. Shit, I think even the fish will do it. Yeah, they sure will. Although I don't know what the hell feels good to a fish. Warm water, I suppose. Yeah. I used to have aquariums, right? See, these are natural segues. Yes, the natural segues of madness. So all types of blindness throughout, the whole area. It's almost like people are protecting themselves. A child can't see, that a mother is incompetent, that a mother doesn't love it. A child can't see that. And so the young man develops. And it's so hard for him to come to the realization that society, culture, other people, the world at large, doesn't love him. They're just being nice, doesn't owe him anything. It's a very hard lesson. We hear it all the time. World doesn't owe you anything. Right? It's like, oh, well, it's worse than that. You know what I mean? Go ahead, fall down. Go ahead, beg. Go ahead, have an open wound because they'll just pour salt in it. Go ahead. And if it is the end of you, they won't even remember your name. The world doesn't owe you anything. Nothing here owes you anything. It's that kind of happy things that we talk about here on the Howard Dare channel. Right? For those about to rock. Yeah. So where's this blindness coming from, right? Why do we have it? Like I said, the kid can't recognize that his mother is a bad mother. Can't imagine that the mother doesn't love him, right? So it's defensive on that one side, isn't it? How about the man who loves his wife, right, or his girlfriend, and she's cheating on him and he can't see it, right? He still loves her. The cuckold. Okay. But understand that the cuckold is also a situation through the dynamic of the situation. Like if you love that woman, if you chase after women, right? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to get together with a woman. You're going to worship her. She's going to think you have no value. She's going to think she has all the value, and she's just going to exploit you, right? So we create that situation in our values. The idea of, women and children first. Oh, woman's the most important thing in the world. Oh, man just has to reproduce. What are you, gay? What are you, not a real man? These are the most important things, the values, and these are the things that we use to control men. These are the forces that drive them. And if the man isn't aware of it, right, he's a mark. That's what she's smiling at. She's aware of it. The advertiser's aware of it. The government's aware of it. The only person who isn't aware of it is the man, and he's in love. And I don't mean to talk shit about relationships between men and women, because if the circumstances are decent, and if they are decent, there's nothing wrong with, relations between male and female. It's the basis of life, isn't it? Certainly, healthy interaction. Nothing wrong with it. But when, it's all screwed up, when the market value of a prostitute, is going to cost you $1,000 and she's a fat, ugly whore, it's like, no, it's not a good situation. Taking a moment here, reminding the people in the future, this is a podcast. Son of a bitch, my coffee, it's cold. See, this is when I regret having let the staff go home early at the Howard Dare studio. Studios. We have studios, right? It's not just one. And it's not just one with several rooms. It's Howard Dare studios all over the world. But I'm just in one at any given time. I thought it was important to point that out. All this stuff leads someplace, people. Yeah. No, this is the way I make my videos, right? And I didn't know. This was a surprise to me. The videos are related. I seem to take like a subject and I go through it like throughout the week and I rip it apart like a dog on a bone. And I come at it from all these different angles and I like deal with it as best I can, right? Like what I was talking about last week was how female values permeate every aspect of our society and our culture and our thinking. It's like, it's so severe. It's so thorough that some guys listening to this are thinking, hey, Howard Dare is talking shit about women. He must be gay, right? I'm more of a man than he is. That's how deep this idea that, oh, that's where our values are. That's where we're getting our validation from, is just, oh, boom. What does the woman think of me? Duh. Right. So 24 hours, so the female values everywhere, even so much so that like, oh, those poor refugees, those poor women and children. There's no women and children among the refugees. Those are all young single men who left their women, who left their children behind to come here to live off of the tax dollars of another man. And the women here in our culture are like, oh, you have to do the compassionate thing. And the men are like, will this get me laid? Does this mean that she'll like me? And it's like, yeah, this is what a real man looks like. And the guy is just like a total, he's a feminist. I mean, he's a total. He adopts whatever values he needs to adopt in order to fulfill his biological function. He's a dog. And we all are, yeah. He's human. But he's not a man. He's not much of a man. I mean, it can work out. He can be a good man. I don't mean that. He still has reason and intellect and everything like that. But he can't let his biology, get him into too much trouble. And then it's the psychology as well. It's not just his biology. It's his psychology and it's propaganda. So this is what MGTOW is talking about. The scales have gone way too far in favor of the female. And they use sympathy. They use this idea of oppression. They use this idea of victimization, right? They use this idea of, oh, women are not being treated fairly. They're going to start to cry. And the weakest, the men who wants the sex the most, the men who are like, oh, I got to please the women, they break down first, you know? So it's like the breaking down of a strike line or of a phalanx. You know, so that's how the female values permeate through. So that's what I was talking about. Yeah, go check out those videos. I'm not going to explain it all now. Those videos exist in the past. Like that, I got a whole time travel theme going on here, right? We got ourselves a live broadcast where I have to explain to the people in the future that I need to take pauses here. And in talking about what I'm talking about, I have to suggest to you guys to go back and look at the old videos so that you know, get the context. Everything is in context. This is one of the things that the feminist, the globalist, the leftist, the socialist, the social justice warrior, the Marxist, this is one of the things they do. They just try to take things out of context. Everything is in context. Yeah, so I'm learning how to not drool on the microphone. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. First, you have to admit that you were doing it. Not easy. Some people are actually good at this stuff. I admire those people. I look up to those people. I'm not going to say that I try to be one of those people because that would just be a lie. But I do admire them. I have to go heat up my coffee. Give me a moment, people. I'm back. No, I do admire successful, capable people, you know, but you can only do what you can do. You can only take the steps that you can take. You can only, you know, take that next step for you. Wherever it is you're at, you can only take one or two steps or three. Sometimes you can jump, right? Sometimes you can just hurdle and just hurdle right to the top there. But those are special instances. But for the most part, you can only take that one next step. Yeah, there wasn't much coffee to heat up. Things are tight here at the Howard Dare channel. So I've only got a couple of sips left of coffee. And as I said, I sent the staff home. Right now, we're going to fucking get raided by Al Qaeda, you know, or ISIL. Allah Akbar. Because we talk shit here at the Howard Dare channel. Fuck those terrorists. You know, sometimes I think that the mainstream media has been bought out by Arab nations or by Islam countries or big moneyed interests. Yeah. You know, my I did a video, not I did, but I put up some video of the Yemenis vendors protesting in New York and all gathering for a prayer meeting. It was just like 36 seconds long. And yeah, I wanted you guys to see it because it's just all these Muslim men, just like thousands of them, right? Just all bowing, you know, down to the Allah Akbar, right? We're in the middle of New York, okay? and that's it. And they just, do it like 3 times, and they're all just in line and all disciplined. And it looks straight up, like a Nazi, regiment, or display, one of the early, propaganda displays. I mean, they're all in line. And that's what I wanted you guys to see, that these guys are disciplined, right? You think you could get a whole bunch of video game players to do that? You could if you were selling a new, iPhone. You get them to line up in their fat, pasty, pre-diabetic, condition. But do you think that you could get a bunch of men within Western society, within Western culture, to line up, to gather like that, to kneel down, and to behave like that, or to behave in any sort of highly disciplined, controlled manner? And the answer is no, you could not. And that's what you guys need to see. For those about to rock. Hey, isn't it great to worship women? I mean, isn't that just the most important thing in the world, right? To like walk through the mall of life and to always be like a looky-loo, looking in windows and being like, oh, I wish I could have that. Oh, I'd do anything to fuck that mannequin. Oh, right? And then you just look at the other guys around you and say, oh, don't you want that? And then when you meet up with a woman, you're like, I'd do anything for you. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, wouldn't you have a great future if that's how you were? If that was your mindset? I mean, can't you just picture that future? Can't you envision it? Right? Like you worship women, okay? And you worship all of the things that you need to do in order to get together with the woman. And it doesn't matter if she's a fat, out of shape, hateful little whore that hates your guts and will cheat with you on your friends. It doesn't matter. Yeah, isn't that the great way to be in life? Hey, did you like the Lady Gaga? The way she flew around and, danced around and showed herself. And she's getting old though, that harness that she had to wear underneath. That's what it's like, where did she go? Oh, look, she changed her costume. That's sexy. No, she had to take off the harness, right? But she was still fat. Yeah. Too bad those fucking harnesses didn't break when she jumped, huh? That's cruel. I'm just saying, for live television though, I mean, could you imagine how many views that would get? Oh man. And if you were like one of the first few people to get that up on YouTube, could you imagine? Man, 10 million views. Goodbye to Gaga. There's a great line in Tropic Thunder where they're going to kill the star, and his agent is trying to get him saved, like they're trying to pay the ransom or something like that. And the studio's looking at him and he's saying, but they're going to kill him. And the studio's looking at him and saying, yes. And we're going to make a fortune, No, I didn't really have a point to make anywhere there. I was just talking. Yeah. This is one of those podcasts. Sometimes you have a podcast where like the host knows what they're talking about and they've got a plan, and they're like, got a point. No, we don't do that here at the Howard Dare channel. We have a brief outline of what we're talking about and what we're doing. And when I say brief, I mean we don't have one. How long have we been going? Because we don't want to go too long, right? You know what I'm talking about here, don't you? You know why we don't want to go too long, don't you? Because it kills our views. We're so calculating. I'm terrible. But let me tell you what else I wanted to talk about. Some of my upcoming videos. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. We know why we can't look at female nature. It's too painful. There are certain things that we hide from ourselves. This is the blindness that I'm talking about. And we hide these things from ourselves, and we must. Just as the child must hide the fact that it, has an abusive alcoholic mother, even though it's bearing all of the physiological effects of that, it has to say to itself, no, she really loves me. Because the alternative is too frightening, right? So the men are like, no, the women still love us, right? And the women are just, and I don't mean to upset men. Don't think that that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to exploit men's weakness for women. I'm trying to inform you guys and to give you guys insights so that you don't become victims to your own nature. And I'm trying to do it for myself as well. So the blindness, and it's a blindness that we use on ourselves to protect ourselves from seeing things that are too painful to see. But then we forget, don't we, that we originally chose to hide this from ourselves. And then our behavior becomes neurotic, based on this thing that we've forgotten. So it's like now, whenever you meet up with a woman that looks like that ex, you start twitching and you don't even fucking remember that, you just developed that habit when she came around. All kinds of things, the way your mother spoke to you could trigger all kinds of things that you're not even aware of. And so you've got all these driving forces beneath your personality, beneath the surface, that you may or may not even be aware of. And you need to harness them, and you do need to become aware of them. And this is, the another level of the blindness that I'm talking about. But there's something else that happens. A horrible betrayal happens. And we play this out. We see it out. We represent it throughout. Every individual man represents it throughout his life. It's why we have the symbols that we have, and that we can all agree, upon them. It's why we talk about the father as if, the God, right? Or the mother. It's built into us. But then this thing can go kind of wrong, this betrayal. And we freak, and we don't know how to deal. And our behavior then becomes neurotic. It becomes driven by these forces that we don't even understand. So when even somebody's trying to do right by us and say, sure, I'll give you a job, and you take this opportunity to learn the craft, and then you move on, and then we'll bring somebody else in who needs to learn at that level. Or you could grow and create some sort of new value to us, but otherwise we're going to let you go, and maybe you forget that it's a limited time offer. Life, limited time offer here, people. Take advantage. Relax, have a good time. Find the things you care about, That's what I tell myself. So I've been thinking that I've been getting really good on my bike, and I've been improving, no doubt about it. And it's a real thrill to ride the road bike and to be able to develop some serious speed and consistency. And I'm cruising along, thinking, yeah, man, I could ride in a group. I could do it. And all of a sudden, some guy just comes blowing by me on with a real kit and everything, road kit, meaning he's got the shoes, he's got his helmet and everything. He's serious about it. And he just blows by me. And I'm like, and he can even be like, he can even be like set up for like a longer ride, not for speed. And I'll be like, well, I wonder if I can keep up with this guy. And the answer is nope, I can't. And I'm pretty good. I can cruise around. Anyway. So I want to talk about this betrayal and this blindness and how we forget. I want to talk about how we trick ourselves and then we forget. I want to talk about how we protect ourselves psychologically and we forget what we did, and then the behavior becomes like a compulsion and drives our behavior, and we're not aware of it, and it fucks us up, and we kind of need to become aware of it. And what if this behavior was like, related to women? Yeah, definitely. I mean, since women have, if women give you a hard time, you're going to develop these behaviors, these patterns. So MGTOW isn't, and I'm not using MGTOW to exploit this, but to bring awareness to this, to bring insights to this. So it's not an easy thing, The MGTOW is the most serious path. I say that like I'm joking, but I'm not. Samurai Jack is coming back. I loved that show. Well, I don't love it, but let's not go too far, Howard. Uh, I liked the show. It was an okay show. But Samurai Jack is coming back. Yeah. And it looks like his main nemesis is a bunch of female ninja-like creatures, demons. Yeah. Looks like they'll be chasing after him, large groups of women every show. So Samurai Jack is complete MGTOW. And understand that MGTOW is something that has existed throughout the ages. We've just called it something different. It is, the code of real nightly behavior, of real masculine behavior and masculine traditions. Because and they're under attack. They're being destroyed. It's like, what are you, gay? Don't you want to get together with that woman even though she's 50 years old and she's a complete whore? And she's retarded and she's got all kinds of problems that she doesn't even know where they're from? Don't you want to just hide your problems from yourself and feel good and just go along with your biology? Don't you want to do that? I mean, aren't you a real man? You're not gay. I mean, if you don't do that, how could you ever get together with a woman? If you don't become a complete idiot and worship women and never question the things that drive you as a man, how can you get together with women? I mean, you MGTOW must be crazy. That's the argument that I hear from retarded, children in the comment section in the world. And when you guys hear this, I want you to be able to understand what they're really saying to you, what they're really asking you, So do you think that a man who worships women, who will do anything to make a little bit more money, do you think a person who finds their validation in the external world from other people, who needs money, who needs the approval of women or of just people in general, do you envy that person? Do you think that person's going to have a good time? What the hell do you think happens when that person with those values meets up with somebody who has unlimited beauty, unlimited skill, unlimited resources, and places no value on them except how they can use them to manipulate other people? That's what they value. What happens when that honorable man who's just following his instincts because he loves the women and he does what his biology is telling him to do, and he hides what he needs to hide in his psychology? And if you say to him, hey, that woman's not worth it, she's a liar, she's just a pair of tits, as soon as you're done and having an orgasm, you will want to get out of there. He's like, no, I love her, I'll do anything for her, I buy her houses. It's like, okay, pal. And I'll question the masculinity of any man who doesn't just blindly go along with this. And if he questions me, I'll start a fight with them. I'll say, are you gay? And I'll beat the shit out of him. So that's what's driving the man. That's what's driving this man. Do you envy him? Are you like, yeah, I want to be him? Do you not know what's in store for him? Do you think that he's about to have a good time? Do you think he's going to like rock out? Do you think he's going to like make a lot of money and fucking dominate shit and live his dreams? Do you think he's going to be able to pick and choose the women that he wants to be with? Do you think he's going to have the best in life? Or do you think he's going to be a servant and a slave and a beggar? Do you think he's going to be sick as a dog? I think he's going to be a servant. I think he's going to be a slave. I think he's going to be sick as a dog. I think women are going to control him. I think bosses are going to control him. I think he's going to jump through hoops his whole life like a dog. I think he's going to act like a fool. I think that we, MGTOW, I think that if we said to that man, hey, buddy, Can we put you on a set of support things and put you in a pink tutu and give you a wand and fly you around the fucking room? Can we do that with you? Because if we do, you'll make a lot of money and you'll be able to get a lot of women. Can we do that with you? And I'll bet you that guy would like put his hand to his chin and be like, yeah, just hook me right up into the harness, fly me around the room, play the music, I'll dance, I'll grab my crotch, I'll sing, and I'll be famous. I'll bet you that guy would do that. And now the question is, would you do it? Would you be proud to do it? You know who else would do it? Lady Gaga would do it, although she's pretty good at it. She's talented at it. She's practiced at it, right? She can sing a song while she's doing it. She can carry a tune while she's doing it. And she's female. So you can't just do that. You'd have to do a lot more. And imagine, do you think that the man would spend his whole life doing that, chasing after that? I do. Do you think that he would never, ever look at it and understand it and see what he's done? I think that's exactly what he would do. I think he would hide it from himself as best he could. And what do you think he would do to the man who brought the questions up to him and made him look at it? I think he'd hate that man. I think he'd attack the shit out of that man. I think one of the first things he'd say to that man is, what's the matter with you? Are you gay? Don't you want to have sex with, any woman that comes your way? Any female? And understand, this is the attitude. This is what they think of men, right? So you want to hold your head up. You want to have pride. You want to have dignity. You want to build your future. Well, they don't think about you that way. Do you really? What I'm saying is it's going to be very hard for you to do that, to hold yourself in the way that you need to hold yourself in a world that thinks you're nothing but a dog that wants to have sex with any female that comes your way. And it's so bad, what I'm suggesting is that you believe that that's what you are. I was at the beach once. I was hanging out, right? I was getting a tan. I was chilling. Santa Monica, right? Shit waves, thick waves. I can tell you about the waves all up and down the West Coast. Thick waves, dirty waves. Quick waves, straight up and down. Not as hard as Zuma, though. Zuma, they really are straight up and down. So I was hanging out. Just laying on the beach. You know what's nice about Santa Monica? Huge beach area. Like a quarter of a mile worth of sand that you get to walk through. And it's pretty nice sand, too. And that's where the pier is. And you can look out, over the whole sand area. Nice pier. Not really. It's an old fucking pier. It's not a nice pier. I'm just saying that. But I have memories from the pier. In any case, I'm hanging out and I'm smoking a joint. Right? This was some years ago. And there's some girls. And there's some Iraqis or some Arab guys. And this was a long time ago. And they were, yelling at the girls. They were saying, like, you come with us, you do this, we saw you. And I really don't want fucking anything to do with it, but they're there. So I'm like, what's going on? And the guys are like, well, we saw the girls from the pier looking through the binoculars and they're not dressed appropriately. In our country, they would be punished. They have to come with us. But of course, they said it with their accents. And, I was a fairly impressive young man in both, physical stature and in my behavior. So I said, no, you're not in your country. They can behave any way they want to here. Get the fuck out of here. And they were like, no, they must come with, and I was like, no, this is not, we can test this. We can bring in police. We can do anything, but you have to get the fuck out of here before it gets bad. They were like, okay, we leave. So they left and the girls were like appreciative. And I was like, yeah, well, I don't care. But my friend, he was like one of those guys, you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, what are you, gay? Don't you love women? So I was like, well, go talk to them, go smoke a joint with them or something. And he was like, no, it's okay. I don't feel like it. So, you know, I forget what the point I was trying to make. Give me a moment. No, it's just that the guy thought that, he was some sort of stud and some sort of, ladies' man. And he wasn't even able to stand up to other men. He was nervous. He was timid. He was unsure about himself. I didn't want anything to do with the girls. I mean, I had no problem with them. But I just wasn't interested. And women don't understand that. They don't understand that sometimes men are just not interested in them, you know. I got a comment in one of my videos this morning, like you need to fix your, problems, and you're just upset and frustrated that women don't like you. And it's like, women like me plenty, you know what I mean? If I'm around a woman and I'm smiling and I'm friendly and there's no problems, women like me just fine. As a matter of fact, they smile at me. They come near me and stuff. That's a result of health, right? That's because I just got off that's because wherever I'm showing up to, I've just ridden 5 miles to get there, and I've just walked in upright. Yeah. Usually upright. I try. So I had some other point to make, but it escapes me. So anyway, the point is who's lying to who? You know what I mean? Who's betraying who? And what is it that upsets us the most about this situation? That's what some of my upcoming videos are about. That's what I want to talk about, right? It's going to take some videos. And I haven't, so it's a weird process that's going on here. And I need support too, people. I need subscribers. I need shares. I don't need donations. I mean, sure, if you've got, $1 million and you want to send me some money, by all means, send me some money, please. And I'll put it to good use too, right? Because I have to build up the staff here at the Howard Dare Studios. Seriously, I do. I need some help. I really do. There's only so much that I can do. There's only so many things that I'm capable of doing. I'd love to, go onto other platforms. I would love to understand certain aspects of SEO that I just don't understand. And it's very difficult to understand it when, you're making the damn videos, right? So there's the trick right there, is that, yeah, it's understandable, but only if you take a few days and study it. There's certain graphical resources, just a lot of kind of popular images that are pre-matted, things like that. Certain commercial images as well. They cost, a decent photo costs a few bucks. I mean, if you're lucky, I mean, if you're looking around and you're careful, you can find them for about $4 or $5. But if you want to use 10 of them, you know what I mean? It adds up. But, regardless of like the financial requirement for it, it's a weird thing, you know what I mean? To just like step into this new level of things, right? To step up to a new level of things, because that's difficult. And, would you like to do something really challenging right now? The answer is probably not. You could probably get up to it and get it done, but right. And this is part of what I'm talking about here. We lock in to what we want to believe in and what makes us happy right now, security wise, belief wise, psychology wise, biology wise, metabolism. We lock into it, okay? And we don't want to change it. And if anybody comes to us and tries to change it or challenge it, we get upset. It's like this huge betrayal, right? I mean, we can't face it sometimes. Like if you come and you say, no, she's a whore, she's cheating on you. It's like, well, what are you talking about? I love her. It's like, no, they're all whores. Okay. As soon as if they find your twin brother and he's better looking than you and tells better jokes than you, you're done. And the man is like saying, no, there's some other aspect to it. It's like, maybe there is, and maybe there is, and that's fine. See, there's the thing, it's this faith that can destroy the man. This is what I'm talking about. These belief systems that we become locked into. And when they become challenged, when it's time to discard the old belief system, to adopt the new belief system. Hey, do you guys like Facebook? Do you like Twitter? I know you don't. I know some of you say, I hate Facebook, right? And that's okay. You can hate Facebook. That's fine, right? But you could use the tool. You know what I mean? If there's a tool for you to make money there, by all means, use it. And it has no feelings or anything like that about it. So where's this struggle coming from? Hey, you want to be successful in life with certain things, but you can't, okay? Where's the conflict coming from? Why not? Other people have done it. Where is this conflict coming from? Where is this betrayal coming from? Search your feelings. It's coming from within you. It's coming from within the person. They're resisting the change, the challenge, the new things. They're holding on to the old beliefs that in some cases they have to, right? You can't tell me that my mother doesn't love me. You can't tell that to a child. What are you doing? Even if it's true, right? So you're like, come on, kid. And on some levels, the kid will know, right? Like they can't escape that truth, but that's what they're hiding from. Do you think if you give her enough money that she'll love you? Do you think if you're a strong enough utility to her that she will value you? So there's this thing that we don't want to face. There's this blindness. There's this struggle, this conflict, this betrayal within the self. That's what I want to start to talk about this week. Okay, there you go. What am I doing? Is it stuck? It's subtle. I'm sorry, people. Give me a moment. Anyway, so what else did I mean by, thank you. So I was asking a question. That man who worships the women, what's he about to do? He's about to become a slave. He's about to give over his mind and his reason. Now, the man who isn't worshiping the woman, can he still have sex with the woman if he wants to? And it's cool, like it's safe and everything like that. Can he? Is it a possibility? Of course it's a possibility. That's exactly what it is, right? But that man who worships her, who loves her, who will do anything for her, and if you don't, he's a real man. He's not gay, right? He won't even think about it. He'll do anything for any woman. Can he have sex with her? I guess he can. I think he can. I don't know. Certainly he's going to owe her something for it. He's going to feel something about it. He's certainly, driven to do it, isn't he? Yes, he is strongly driven to do so. He might even break the law, do all kinds of things to do so. And if you say to him, why'd you do that? Like let's say he does go too far. Like, why did you do that? He'll say, oh man, I couldn't help it. That's what he'll say. Just like my friend but he couldn't even summon up the courage to go hang out with the girls. And he certainly couldn't summon up the courage to defend the girls from the Muslims. And he certainly wasn't of the character of the type of man to stand up to the Muslims either. You know why? Because he worshiped women, because he worshiped the things that enabled him to get together with women. But when it was time to get together with women, when it was time for him to do something that would enable him to get together with women, he couldn't do it. So there's a message there for you MGTOW, for us MGTOW, right? So what are MGTOW about to do? What is a man in full possession of his biology, of his psychology, who cannot be shamed, does not get his self-worth, validation from some retarded female that he doesn't even know, or from some culture that just wants to trick him into becoming a soldier, becoming a father to somebody else's kid. They don't care. They don't care. Can we put you down as the father? Yeah, okay. Well, you're a father. Congratulations. What's about to happen to that man? You know, what's he about to do? Is he about to die? Is he about to fade away into nothing? Is he about to become a servant to a woman or to a system that doesn't value him? No, he's not. The MGTOW man is the man, who is about to take over the world and is about to dominate the world and to build his own future. And sure, this applies to women too. Go ahead. Go your own way. Find your own way. Build your own way. Become strong. Do not get your values from an external world. Do not try to please others. Try to please yourself. Try to find out, what you care about, and then build that up. That's what MGTOW are heading towards. I know it's a hard struggle. I know it is. It's the hardest struggle. You want to do what everybody around you is doing. You want to do what everybody else in the herd is doing. So if everybody in the herd is going to McDonald's and listening to Lady Gaga and worshiping women, and they'll do anything. They'll dress up in a pink tutu. They'll let you put them on a harness, and they will let you fly them around a room because they're going to be famous and they're going to make more money. And they're going to get women. And if you don't do it, they're going to accuse you of being gay, of being, of not loving women. So go ahead, have any values. Say to them, no, I have to go practice martial arts. No, I have to go practice, music. No, I have to go work out. They're going to be like, what are you, gay? You don't love women? So do you understand what they are? Do you understand what they're saying to you when they're trying to shame you? Do you understand why it shouldn't bother you too much? Why you should feel sorry for them? Do you understand what you're about to be able to be, to do? Do you understand, the tools that you're about to be able to have access to? Do you understand the strength that you're about to be able to have if you can make it? Sometimes people say to me, Howard Dare, you don't do jack shit. All you do is sit on YouTube and make stupid videos. It's like, well, I reach some thousands of people a day. I get some great comments, people telling me I made a big difference in their life. And, I don't want to be an asshole, right? The fastest growing MGTOW channel. Right? I don't want to be some idiot, but, you do make a little bit of money off of this too, right? And it's scalable. It can grow. There's no reason why I can't have 50,000 subscribers. There's no reason why I can't have 150,000 subscribers. Actually, because I suck, because I'm not good enough, because we need to build up the Howard Dare Studios, right? And all I need from you guys are subscribes and shares. I don't even need donations. That's how well I figured this one out. Well, no, I'm kidding. That's not true. That's not true. I'm figuring it out as I go along. But damn, I had another point too, but it's a podcast, people. It's a live podcast. What's going on in the comments section? All right. I'm about to wrap this up, you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by, for hanging out. So the man, my voice is breaking up here. The MGTOW are those about to rock. And the blue pill man is about to lose his life in slavery. The people who can go their own way from a corporate system that doesn't care about them, that gives them values that don't serve their own interests, okay? You're a bird whose wings have been ripped off. You're a bird who's ripped his own wings off. To please the idiot birds around you. That's what a man is. That's what they do to men. So when you see that young boy and he's like, I can't throw a ball. He's hanging out with the girls and fucking being a feminist. Well, that's a bird with its wings that ripped off its own wings. And that's what men do to themselves. And that's what society and culture wants to do to them. Hey, did you see the way Lady Gaga was flying around? Wasn't that great? She was flying. It was amazing, right? She can fly. What an idiot. What a fucking clown. Being moved around up there like that. I mean, it was pretty. I'm sorry, I shouldn't go that far. I don't mean it that bad, right? It's a hell of a show. That I don't know if it tops what Katy Perry did though, walking around in that giant monster thing last year, right? Next time they're gonna have to get Miley Cyrus out there, and you're right, she's just gonna have to like I don't know, but they're just gonna have to expose some body parts. So they're just gonna have to do something more outlandish, right? Okay, yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk about the Super Bowl commercials. They sucked ass. Yeah, dead Spuds McKenzie floating around. What a bunch of bullshit that was. What a cheap way to not have to do some animation, huh? Yeah, you don't think they could have gotten another dog in there and called it Son of Spuds? That's what they should have done. No. Man, that was horrible. All those commercials were so bad. They weren't even good commercials. You know what I mean? Like you could find on YouTube, you could type in top 10 commercials. You could type it in right now and you would find 10 just hysterical, funny, inventive, smart, thoughtful commercials. You'd be chuckling about these commercials for a couple days. Did you see one of those commercials on the Super Bowl? I didn't. Hey, you know what we did see though, people? And this is really important, you guys. We saw mobile game commercials. Okay. This is the most expensive advertising in the world, right? And so why didn't we see pharmaceutical companies advertising there? No, we saw new mobile games. There was that Arnold Schwarzenegger one. There was the one where they used the guy from Walking Dead one, the George Washington one. And I think there was a couple others that I just don't remember. That's huge that they would spend that much money on that product. So keep that in mind moving forward, guys. Like you could be building apps for those platforms right now. And you could have, in the next 5 years, you could be one of the biggest builders in the world. So that's what's open to you guys. That's the possibilities that are open to you guys, especially as MGTOW. Okay. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let me know what you think about this. I'll be talking more about these subjects in my videos, throughout the week. So please like, share, comment, subscribe. I need those shares. I need those subscribes, Those are, I build up enough of those and I'll be, everything will be working really good here at the Howard Dare Studios. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. I really appreciate it. Rock on, everybody. MGTOW, for those about to rock. I salute you. Thanks for stopping by, people.